one of the things that we're starting to work on here in Pennsylvania is a vacatur legislation. Do you want to explain a little bit about what your clients experienced with having a criminal record and trying to get employment or whatever? But can you explain the importance of this?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, as you said, vacatur, which is kind of a silly word, but it's a form of post-conviction relief, is really, really critical to victims of human trafficking. And it's an issue that's really near and dear to my heart, because when I was practicing, a big portion of the work that I was doing was getting vacatur petitions for my clients so that they could get those records vacated and expunged. But for those who are probably unfamiliar with what it is essentially a form of post-conviction relief that vacates a conviction and then expunges a record. And so this is really important for survivors because, unfortunately, part of their victimization oftentimes involves the commission of certain criminal offenses, right? So I think the most obvious one that comes to mind is if you're a victim of sex trafficking, you are forced to sell sex commercially. So many trafficking survivors have prostitution-related offenses on their criminal records. But what I think maybe some people wouldn't know is that oftentimes there are other charges that survivors will have on their criminal record. So if a survivor has to meet a quota at the end of the night and they aren't able to or don't want to sell their body to meet that quota, what oftentimes they will do is they will steal, money or personal property from buyers that they're meeting for dates. Or, I had a client who part of her trafficking was, and this was, not just like in an attempt to meet a quota, but was an expectation of her pimp was to go to places like Target, for example, and steal merchandise from Target and then would pawn that off. They had like a relationship with somebody who owned a pawn shop. So they'd pawn that off for money, and then that money would go back to the trafficker. So sometimes, survivors would have like larceny records, and depending on the level, in the state, like the dollar amount, sometimes that could be a grand larceny charge, which would be a felony offense.